Hey guys, welcome back to RHR Jen. I'm so glad you're here. Guys, you caught me on a good day. I am continuing on my sit down with John Witherspoon. We have so much more to talk about, so much more to get into, so much more Harry and Meghan nonsense to wade through and discuss and to get his opinions on. If you're new here, I'm Jen. Make sure you're subscribed, hit the thumbs up, leave me comments, as all of those helps YouTube to recommend my videos, and I sincerely appreciate it. Now, without further ado, let's get back into the sit down I had with John Witherspoon. He's awesome. Be sure you leave him your comments, your kind words, and I'll make sure that he sees them. Thank you so much. Now let's jump right back on in. Since you brought up other family, if it's okay, I would like to talk a little bit about Andrew and Fergie.
Yeah.
Now with them, I usually tread a little bit lightly just because of the subject matter, and YouTube doesn't like certain words. It's not that I'm ever letting them off the hook, because if they've done what they're accused of being done, it's disgusting and awful.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
And
What are
you're
your
talking about the Andrew of it all,
Yes, yeah.
and the Jeffrey, Andrew
Yeah.
and his friend Jeffrey.
His
Yes.
friend Jeffrey. Yes, exactly right. So I guess just tell me your thoughts in general, about what you've learned, and your opinions, and then I just had some thoughts as it relates to Harry and Meghan. But what are your thoughts going into this?
Well, my thoughts relate to Harry and Meghan as well.
Okay.
And here's what I think is interesting. A lot of people, first of all, I'm surprised that not more people have touched on this. But I think that people have said, well, Andrew in particular and Fergie, they represent an existential threat to the continued existence of the British royal family.
Mm-hmm.
They're certainly not helping the British royal family. Let's just put it that way, to be generous about it. But here's, I think, the untold story that nobody is really touching on in the way that I think that they should, and that is that Andrew and Fergie are representing an existential threat to the platform that Meghan and Harry have adopted, and with which they have, tried to
Monetize? Yeah.
monetize and lecture and change the world and all of these types of things. And people's initial pushback to that is, oh, well, no one has ever accused Harry or of doing the types of things that Andrew is accused of doing. That's not the point. The point is that the British royal family, and this, not trying to upset people, but to put it politely, I think the British royal family has a very substantial jerk problem, or an a-hole problem, to put it a little bit more bluntly. And it's not that anybody is accusing Harry of doing the things that Andrew has been accused, and I'll take the same digression and take the same pain to point out, Andrew, that everybody else has. Andrew has steadfastly denied that he has never done anything inappropriate. Right. And that's fine. That's his prerogative to say those things in regard to the issue on the island in the Caribbean and the house in New York and so forth, and the private jet and all that kind of thing. And I get that. I've never heard an accusation of that nature leveled against Harry. Here's the problem, though. Prince Andrew has developed a supreme and indisputable reputation as a jerk, a first-class jerk. Everything from, there's the story of, him being, this is as an adult. This is not as a 12-year-old. This is an adult saying, and I believe Andrew Loney talks about this in his book, sniffing the pate and saying, this smells really weird, and then handing it to a woman sitting next to him at a dinner party. And the allegation is that she then, he said, what do you think of this? And then she sniffed it, and when she did that, he pushed it up into her face. I mean, again, this is an allegation, and it's from Andrew Loney's book, and People
Sure.
can weigh in the comments on their thoughts about that. But with that type of an allegation, he has really genuinely developed a reputation as a very, very supremely dislikable person. The problem for Harry and Meghan is
Yeah.
that when push comes to shove with respect to Andrew, Harry and Meghan are going to get wrapped up in the same rip current, the same riptide, the same tsunami, whatever it is going to swallow all of them. Because Prince William, I can imagine him getting up every morning and opening the newspaper and seeing Prince Andrew tarnishing the British royal family. Prince Andrew this, Prince Andrew that, Prince Andrew the other. What about Eugenie and Beatrice? How wrapped up are they in all of this kind of stuff? By the way, what do Beatrice and Eugenie bring to the royal family other than just being apparently nice young women who everybody kind of feels bad for because their father has been such an oaf, and their mother, well, she's not, free of any of, she has not lived the same life that, let's say, Queen Elizabeth has, and so on and so forth. Anyway, Prince William, when he gets his opportunity, he is going to say, I don't ever want to have to suffer the same agony that my father has because of his wayward brother. And Prince William has also seen all of these other European monarchies. The Danish monarchy has been brought up very frequently recently, and the slimming down that's been done there. I think Prince William is smart enough and media savvy enough to understand that this cannot continue. And he's not going to want his Uncle Andrew. He's not going to want his Aunt Fergie. He's not going to want his brother, his baby brother, Harry. He's not going to want his, use whatever negative adjective you want, sister-in-law, Meghan. He's not going to want any of those people to disrupt his business as the monarch of the United Kingdom. He's King of England. He's not going to want any of that stuff. He's not going to want any of that residue to bother his children. I question whether Harry is intelligent enough to see the writing on the wall. Maybe he is. He may also be one of those people that thinks, oh, well, I'm still whatever I am, fifth, eighth, whatever it is, in line to the throne. My brother wouldn't cut me off like that. I have every confidence that William would cut Harry off like that.
I have every confidence he would as well, and I have every confidence that Harry's instinct would be to take him to court.
Well, I guess.
I know. I don't know how that works. I'm just saying that's Harry's solution to everything. He's just going to sue because it's Tuesday,
Okay, well, the problem with that, though, I mean, it could happen, but the problem with it is that when you go to court, you argue about the law as it's written. And the law is created by Parliament, just like in the United States, is created by Congress or the state legislature or the county legislature, whatever it is. Harry can go to court all he wants.
Sure.
But if the law says you're not entitled to be a prince anymore because Parliament made a change at the urging of King Charles or at the urging of Prince William, I mean, it's a fool's errand, maybe appropriately so.
Harry does.
Yeah.
That's what Harry does.
Yeah. So it's just I do not see a happy ending in any way, shape, or form for Harry. I think it is all going to continue to go downhill for Harry. In part because of his own choices and behaviors and so forth, and in part because of some external factors that he's in the wrong place at the wrong time. Like I said, he's on the beach when the tidal wave hits, and he's going to suffer the consequences. And I don't know that brings up another interesting question. What is he going to do? Let's assume that happens. And for all we know, as Jen, as you and I had discussed several times, people in positions of power, like the king, of King Charles, and of, say, someone like the Pope, nobody ever stands up and says, oh, by the way, yeah, the Pope's in the hospital and the doctor just came out and says, yeah, the Pope's got 2 weeks to live. No one is ever going to say, King's communications office is never going to put out a thing that says, oh, the Pope or the King Charles is in the hospital for more cancer treatment. And by the way, the doctor has said, put the guy out of his agony. We're going to stop pumping chemicals and we're going to stop giving him chemo because it's not going to work anymore. They're not going to make that announcement and say, the king is probably only going to live for 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, whatever it is. We're never going to hear that. Now, we could wake up tomorrow morning and find out that the king has passed. Mm-hmm. That would be unfortunate, obviously. Yeah, sure. We could wake up 3 years, 5 years, 10 years from now and find out that King Charles has moved on to the next life. Mm-hmm. And again, we're not wishing that on him by any stretch of imagination. Mm-hmm. But the point being, Harry is very much on borrowed time, as far as I'm concerned.
I agree.
I mean, he really is. And again, whether he realizes that or not, I don't know. I think Meghan probably is smart enough to realize that. Mm-hmm. And I think part of that idea floating in the back of her head is motivating her to go like a maniac to try to pump out candles, pump out sparkling wine, pump out this, pump out instead of one bottle of syrup, fruit syrup or whatever she calls it, fruit spread in a gift box. Oh, guess what? We're going to change things up. We're going to put 3 bottles of fruit syrup in a gift box. I think that, as I said, informs some of the frenetic activity that goes on, and the barrage of Instagram posts. All of a sudden, I've come out of retirement from Instagram, and I'm going to go nuts with this stuff. 2025, I'm going to write it in the sand, and then just off to the races.
Yeah.
And here we are with, we're almost in the fourth quarter of, we're 3/4 of the way through 2025. And what does she have to show for it? A lot of activity, questionable levels of accomplishment and progress.
No, I agree completely. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Now with Andrew and Fergie, it's, I believe it's still, I'll say allegedly, but I think it's pretty well known, but again, alleged that they live together a lot of the time. So it's almost like they don't have a whole lot of options but each other. Again, I might just be drawing my own conclusion on this. So I can't help but think of Harry and Meghan. Do you think that they are eventually headed in that direction where it's kind of, and they might be there now? Is it like they're just stuck? What do they do without the other? What are your thoughts?
It's a very, very interesting question and a very interesting dynamic. Mm-hmm. I don't understand completely what the whole Andrew and Fergie relationship is. I don't care if the room, I hear both. Is it 30 rooms or 30 bedrooms? I can't imagine 30 bedrooms. Why in the world would even the fanciest house, why would you have 30 bedrooms? Then again, Meghan and Harry allegedly have 17. So, believe what you want. Anyway, the bottom line is, I don't care how big the house is. They're still technically under the same roof. Mm-hmm. That seems very strange to me.
Me too.
Very strange to me. Mm-hmm. I would think he would want to have some distance. I would think she would want to have some.
Yeah, I would too. Yeah.
Then again, these are the same people who apparently, or especially in the case of Andrew, allegedly, okay, fine, we'll vacate that house, but as long as we get 2 houses to make up for the loss. Again, that's an allegation that has been put out there. But it's entirely believable, again, because these people are not like the rest of us. They're really not.
Can you imagine making demands on people who have given you free or whatever, like some sort of housing, basically, but fancy housing, and then you're demanding things because you may or may not have done terrible things to people.
It's very strange. It really is. And the sort of oddness of the British royal family, I think they get that there are benefits that accrue to them, and there are also some detrimental things that accrue to them. The whole mystery of the British royal family. We don't really know anything about their finances. We don't really know about, what their personality is behind closed doors, because, that's why I think it's so remarkable. For instance, if you look back at the old video of the late Queen, there's the one video where she's sitting there eating the sandwich with Paddington Bear, and she jumps out of or a stunt double jumps out of the helicopter for the Olympics with Daniel Craig. Or the time that she was given the sword and she's cutting the cake. Or the video of her during the war working on the assembly line or whatever, driving the truck or whatever it was that she was doing. We have those little snippets of who she is. And the reason that they're so valued is that the rest of the time, nobody really has a good understanding of what is her sense of humor. What is she like? When she's totally being herself and so forth. So, as I said, part of that creates the mystique of the British royal family. When you have someone like the late Queen, I think it's very easy to say, well, we have these glimpses into who she is, and and they're very special, and because they help us fulfill the fantasy of what this person is really like. At the same time, you've got somebody like Prince Andrew. I guess he's still Prince. But the little glimpses into who he really is behind closed doors are very unsavory, very unlikable.
Yeah.
And like I said, the story with the pate being allegedly pushed up into the woman's face. And, and here's the thing. I just have to say on that whole pate story as well. It's bad enough to do that. Let's say he had done that to a man.
Right.
Okay.
It's rude, but it's different.
It's very rude.
Uh-huh.
But I'm just envisioning the environment in which that story allegedly took place. You've got a woman, she's eating a meal at a fancy meal where I'm assuming it's a fancy meal, they're serving pate, okay? I don't eat pate on the regular. It's usually because I'm at somebody's house or I'm at a restaurant and they've stuck it in front of me. Okay, fine. Means it's a very special occasion. I'm assuming because of that, the woman is probably wearing really nice clothes, probably absolutely trying to be at her absolute best. She's probably spent who knows how long fixing her hair, working on her makeup, et cetera, et cetera. And then to do something like that. It's not just, this was an immature joke. It's no, this is indicative of a level of entitlement and a level of disrespect at the most fundamental level for another human being.
I agree. It's belittling.
It's extremely belittling. It's extremely odious and offensive. It has some ties, I think, again, I don't want to go too far into it. The business with Virginia, the former Virginia, and what has been alleged about, and as she describes in her book, which, by the way, I've heard more than a few people say, if you have ever experienced any physical trauma in your life, you should not, or of the nature that she alleges in her book, you absolutely should not read that book because it will set you off in the worst possible way. I just want to point that out because I've heard several people say, "Oh, you should go read this, Virginia's book. It's very insightful." Yeah, I'm sure it is, but insightful in a way that you do not want to experience if you're not absolutely ready for it. So I just throw that out there as a caveat.
Right.
But what I'm getting at though is the types of behaviors that she alleges were done to her represent an enormous disrespect on a human to human level. How in the world can you do what he is and other people are alleged to have done to her and a lot of other people without thinking in your head at some point, this is a human being. I am damaging this person's psyche for life.
Yeah.
And I think that is so off-putting to so many people. And I think it's hard, even if they don't go through the, manipulation of, the thought process like I just did. I think people have on an intuitive level a sense of just how offensive that is.
Yeah.
Again, the disregard for someone else's not only physical presence, but what is this going to do in this person's head? And we know what happened with Virginia Roberts. She's no longer with us. And some people might argue that part of the reason for that is because of some of the things that happened to her that she just could not deal with. It's tragic. And as I said, you don't have to parse it all out. You just have to have an intuitive understanding of this is not the way I would want to be treated, because I know how distressing it would be to me in the moment and for decades and decades afterwards. And I think that's what a lot of people genuinely and vehemently dislike about Andrew. Even the allegations, it's like, wow, this is really super powerful stuff.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Awful. So, John, if you don't mind, I'd like to continue on and talk about something that's been big in the news lately with Harry and Meghan, and has really triggered a lot of people, if you will, and that is the Paris trip. So, first of all, do you have general thoughts on that debacle with Meghan, or otherwise I can jump right in with the questions? You let me know.
Well, I think the overriding thought that I have about Meghan going to Paris is, again, she just doesn't get it.
Yeah.
She just doesn't get it. After the alleged comments of, we can never go to Paris because of what happened to Harry's mother there, and then the business of the alleged laughter at the model who slipped or tripped or whatever happened. Let's put it this way, regardless of what it was that happened when Meghan was sitting there, she was the only one who reacted the way that she did.
Right.
This was not a comedy club where a comedian told a joke and then everybody laughed. Her behavior was an aberration relative to everybody else who was sitting there. That, to me, is the big takeaway. I don't care if somebody slipped. I don't care if it was funny or not or whatever. Right. The bottom line is she behaved in a way that nobody else deemed appropriate, either because of a thought process or because it was, oh my gosh, I just laughed. I smiled. It was funny. I didn't even have to think of it. It was just a reflexive type of reaction. So to me, that's the important thing about the laughing episode, and then the limo ride where she put her feet up. Why did she deem that appropriate? On so many levels. Why did she feel it was appropriate to make a video of the river in the first place? She's riding in a car. It's like the video that she made in Washington after the Fortune, whatever it was.
Women empowerment, yeah.
Yeah, it's like everybody knows you're in Washington.
Right. But
everybody
to her, it's that whole, if a tree falls and nobody hears it, if Meghan goes somewhere and doesn't post it, did it happen? I think everything is the look of it rather than the experience of it. So
well, and it just reeks of desperation.
That's it. Right.
It really does. And then, to make matters worse, then she showed her feet. Like anybody cares to look at her feet.
Right.
Exactly. And again, to go back up to the highest level, the the juxtaposition of, on one hand, I'm selling all these very expensive, finely crafted
Yeah.
bags of dried flowers and
Right.
these
Mulling spices and
yes, and what's the price on her sparkling water or sparkling wine now? It's
sparkling wine, 80 something? Yeah, I can't
80
remember.
or $90
Yeah.
plus shipping. So we're living on that level, and then we're going to turn around and at the same time we're going to take a video that shows our feet
Right.
in a limousine.
Uh-huh.
Make that make sense.
You can't. I would
And
put
if you
that
don't,
back to the Andrew poor manners thing.
well, it's just again, it's the whole um,
It's out of touch.
it's the out of touch aspect. It's the lack of class.
Mhm.
It's the lack of thought about it, is this posting of my feet in the
Right.
limousine, is this likely to be a net plus or a net minus? Even among my most adamant supporters,
Mhm.
is this likely to increase their opinion of me to show my feet? Now, by the way, I've repeatedly said showing her feet. It's not just showing her feet; it's her feet up on the seat
It's so
in a
rude.
chauffeur-driven vehicle.
Right.
I wouldn't dream of putting my feet up on the seat in an Uber.
No.
If you put your feet up on the seat in Washington on the subway, and a police officer comes through the door at the end of the car and sees you with your feet up on the subway, you're going to get talked to. I guarantee you. And if you give the police officer any lip and any negative feedback, you're likely to be exited from the train and then talked to on the next platform. It's like, this is not how normal people behave, even on public transit. And I know this is the case in Europe. I have seen people in Europe with their feet on the seat, and they really get an earful when the
Yeah.
conductor or the you know uh, police officer or whoever it is comes through the car. You're going to hear about it. It's just
Right.
not done. It's just not done. And again, the juxtaposition of that type of classless behavior on one hand, and on the other hand, this, oh, I'm selling $64 candles and $90 bottles of sparkling wine. It
Right.
doesn't make any sense. And this is why
Not it.
people find her so infuriating.
That's it. It's unlikable, it's unrelatable, 1,000%. I wouldn't even do that in my best friend's car. She'd be fine with it, but I would feel uncomfortable. I just wouldn't do it. I wouldn't put my feet up like that.
Well,
It's
and the
rude.
car, it's
Uh-huh.
not, it's, again, this is a chauffeur driven car
Right.
with a driver. It's probably the driver's car.
Uh-huh.
I mean, a lot of
True.
people who drive, I know in DC, a lot of people who drive limousines, they scrape their pennies together and
Uh-huh.
they've gone out and bought a limousine. Or
Right.
even the Uber drivers who've gone out and they've bought, really nice Cadillac Escalades or whatever
Uh-huh.
it is for the top level of Uber. Um,
Right.
those people own those vehicles.
Right.
Why in the world? And most of them, by the way, I don't know what it's like elsewhere in the world, but
Mhm.
every Uber that I have ever gotten into in this area, I, I guess in other areas as well, but they are immaculate,
Uh-huh.
immaculate.
Uh-huh.
Even the ones like you get at the airport, the Uber guy shows up and, it can be a really nice vehicle. It can be a low end Toyota sedan.
Mhm.
You could eat off the floor in those.
Mhm.
And I guarantee you that I think the vehicle that she was in was a Mercedes.
Mhm.
Um, I suspect the same thing was true over there. But
Mhm.
it's just the
It's rude.
the rudeness, the
Uh-huh.
lack of consideration for other people,
Uh-huh.
um, and just the classlessness
Mm.
of the whole thing. And again, to go back to my previous point, you don't have to super microscopically analyze it. You just think intuitively, I am not going to put my feet up with or without my shoes.
That's it.
On the seat in somebody else's vehicle.
That's exactly it.
And if you're going to let's say you're driving to the beach and you're in somebody else's car, you know it's a 4-hour drive, you want to lie down and take a nap. Okay, everybody gets it. You're going to be there with your feet on the back of the seat. It's a road trip. You're going to the beach. Fine. But that's a far cry from this type of situation. And again, she probably wonders to herself, why don't people like me? Why am I number one on the, whatever it is, the Ranker or the YouGov, whoever it was most recently that came out with her ranked at number one most disliked person? Yeah. How did I get there? I don't understand it. Well, clearly people are out to get me. No, they're not. They're really not. The people that have actually taken the time and the effort to go and vote her to the top of the most disliked list, believe me, they have plenty of better things to do, but it is so important to them to go on there and rate her and try and bring her down a peg. It's the same thing about, as we were talking about before, going to the baseball game. Oh, we're just out on date night. No, you're not.
No,
you are having what for most people would be the experience of a lifetime.
Right.
That they would mortgage their house to be able to, or sell their automobile to be able to go, and you have treated it and disrespected it in the most cavalier way possible.
You're right.
And you wonder why people don't care for you.
And what do they have in common? That she posted both. She posted date night and she posted her own feet up.
Yes.
Why would you do that?
Yes.
And, we got so stuck on because it is atrocious putting your feet up and then being near the site of, the horrible tragedy with Diana. But that was one of 2 feet up posts. I don't know if you know that. There was another feet up post when they first got there of her. And I believe it was Marcus and maybe that Daniel guy or somebody. They all had their feet up. And I just thought, why would you film? Why are you doing that? But why would you film that?
Well,
we all do dumb crap, but do we film it? No.
Do you see Princess Catherine doing that?
Never. I was thinking the same thing. Never. And I would be willing to bet not only would she not film it, she wouldn't do it.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Well, because Catherine does not have the level of desperation that Meghan seems to have.
Sure.
It's just a different mindset and a different approach to everyday activities. As I said a minute ago, why in the world would you think that anybody, you think about it in terms of if you're on Facebook, you see people put on Facebook these pictures of they're sitting on the beach in a chair with their toes in the sand and they're holding a little drink with an umbrella in it. And they say, woohoo, we're in Jamaica. Or they're not in Jamaica right now after the big storm that just went through there. So, all good wishes and respect to people in Jamaica right now. But it's like, why is that relevant? It's okay. Yeah, we get it. You're on vacation. You're having fun. Good on you. Everybody needs a vacation now. But when I see people now posting things even on Facebook, it's things like, I'm up in the top of the Washington Monument, for instance, or I am, I don't know, at a Rolling Stones concert, or I was, you see these pictures, I was knighted, or, made a, OBE member. Those are the types of things that are compelling and relevant, even on Facebook, to say nothing of someone who insists on being associated with the British royal family.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. I'm laughing. I asked you to come and record because I'm taking a few days off next week to go on a road trip with a friend. So I'm like, what are the most obnoxious pictures I can bring back from that trip?
Oh, knock yourself out. We'll all be
Okay,
interested to see. Yeah.
yeah. What could I put my feet up on? Huh? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Right.
No, I will not post a single. I just don't do that. I don't have Facebook, but yeah, I
Well,
don't need
nobody,
to post
the
pictures.
reason is that nobody cares.
And that's
No,
it.
and
I just
in the
need it for
grand,
me. I don't,
in
yeah,
the grand scheme of things, nobody cares that you went to on vacation and you sat
right.
on the beach with a drink, having a
Exactly.
drink with an umbrella in it.
That's
Nobody
it.
really cares.
I will send a picture back to my mom. That's about all that I got. You know what I mean? Like I just don't, or a girlfriend, but I
Yes.
don't need to.
Yes. Yeah.
It's
And
more about my brain decompressing and being in the moment rather than, yeah, that's silly.
I don't think it, I mean, one of the things that's remarkable to me about Meghan, just as an observer, is that in some cases, she seems to be very calculated
Mhm.
and very deliberate about everything that she does.
Mhm.
I mean, you just think back, um, of whatever it was. Oh, it was at the Fortune thing in DC when she said, "Oh, everybody thought that I would go into beauty or fashion,"
Oh,
and then all of a sudden, that just
nobody
seemed,
thinks that, by the way. Nobody thinks that.
well, this is true. But anyway, but she thinks that people think that,
Sure.
and it's part of her narrative. And then all of a sudden, we get these little hints that there's the picture that dropped of her putting on lipstick, and I think the conventional wisdom is that it won't be very long until she turns over into the fashion, excuse me, the beauty cosmetics realm.
Yeah.
So in that sense, she's very calculated. She's very deliberate in everything that she does. And then there are other things like the feet up on the limo, the seat in the limo, where it's like she's totally spontaneous. She, and she has no filter
Uh-huh.
of, oh my gosh, is this a good idea? Is this not a good idea?
Right. Well,
It's remarkable.
in fairness, we're not diagnosing, but I
No,
suspect narcissism. And I think that might go hand in hand with that. Like everything I do is great. Whereas the rest of us are like, oh my God, like everything I do sucks. Is this going to be another sucky thing that I do? You
yes, yes.
know?
And and again, it's part of the whole fascination. Why are people so interested in what she does,
Yeah.
and in such a negative way? It's not. I don't think that people have a genuine, deep down interest in piling on. It's that they have a fascination with her
Yeah.
repeated missteps and an inability to make good decisions about how she is publicly portrayed.
A huge thank you to John for sitting down with me, answering my questions, taking your time, going through all this stuff. I really appreciate it. Thank you all for watching. I cannot wait to bring you the next part of my sit down with John Witherspoon. I hope you guys enjoy this. Make sure you give him a follow on Instagram. He's Witherspoon DC. Check him out over there. And thank you guys so much. Can't wait to bring you the next part. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye bye.